Afternoon, peeps. Good afternoon, everyone. How we all doing? Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. We are less than 100 subscribers away now from 37,000. So I think we're going to get it before the end of the year. I think we're like 80 away. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. I was thinking about targets for next year. Like, what's a realistic target for the end of next year? Like the dream would be 100,000, right? You get that plaque, I'd retire, I'm done. But I was thinking, like, if we do the lives, get the guest in, be a lot more consistent with the videos, I do think like 60,000 subscribers by the end of the year is realistic. I think we can get it. It's not going to be easy, but I think we can do that. So that's what, 23,000 subscribers next year. I think we can do it. We'll see anyway. But look, thank you so much to everyone that has subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate it. There are a lot of good boxing channels out there. So I thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. All right, let's talk about Lawrence Okolie. We can now speak about it, right? Lawrence Okolie has done a few videos. We now know a bit more information. I think he done a video of IFL TV, Boxing King Media. I've watched both of those videos. Look, I knew a few months ago, maybe before a lot of you guys, that there was an issue with Lawrence and Matchroom. Lawrence was in the studio, I think about 8 or 9 months ago, just after his fight. So when was that? When was Lawrence's fight? January, February? Was it that far away? Anyway, look, literally a week after the fight, Lawrence was in the studio with me, and I started to sense that there was a problem. I didn't want to ask him too many questions about it, but I could sense that there were issues. And then obviously he put that photo up of Leonardo DiCaprio in Django. And then we knew, okay, there are big issues behind the scenes. And now, from at least that interview, or the 2 interviews that Lawrence has given, we now know what the problems were. And it all seemed to stem from this fight behind closed doors. Lawrence assumed that fight was part of his contract. Matchroom assumed it wasn't. And that's where the problem comes. Now, if you're Lawrence, you're a fighter, and you've had 3 fights, you're 100% going to assume that fight behind closed doors is part of your contract. You are. You're just going to. So it's not a problem, I don't think, between Lawrence and Matchroom. I think at the time, I think it was with 258. I think it's a 258 issue with Matchroom. Like, somewhere there's been a miscommunication. Like, surely Matchroom told 258, okay, this isn't part of Lawrence's fight contract. This isn't part of the free fight deal we've got with Lawrence. Someone has to have that conversation. If you're Lawrence and you start sort of getting contract offers from other people and you think, okay, I've done my 3 fights, you feel like you've done nothing wrong. If you're Lawrence, and again, maybe the way Lawrence went about it was wrong, putting up the Leonardo DiCaprio photo, but if you're Lawrence, you're thinking, I've done my 3 fights, what's the issue? There's no way you're going to be thinking the fight behind closed doors isn't part of the contract. There's no way you're going to think that. I was actually trying to think, why would Matchroom not view that fight as part of the 3 fight deal or 4 fight deal? Like, why would they not view it? And it's difficult to understand. Like, I was thinking, okay, are they paying Lawrence the same amount for that fight as they would a fight with fans in attendance, right? And if they are, then I can understand why they feel like they've not made any money, because obviously there were no fans in attendance, so they've not made any gate receipt from that. So they thought that's not part of your deal. I'm just throwing things out there. I don't know. Hopefully we get an interview with Eddie and Coogan so we can sort of fill the gaps on that side. But that's the only reason why I could think that Matchroom would think this isn't part of your 3 fight deal or 4 fight deal. But again, from Lawrence's standpoint, I can understand why Lawrence thinks, no, I've done my 3 fights with you guys. Regardless of it being behind closed doors or in front of, 8 or 9,000 at the O2, we're done. Hence why, and then Lawrence started to get offers from other promoters. Obviously, one of those promoters being Boxer and Sky Sports. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. This is the first time, and I'm just trying to rack my brains, and look, feel free to jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the first time that, at least publicly anyway, that we've seen a fighter have issues with Matchroom. Obviously, you get like the Dillian White and Chisora said stuff recently, and You get those guys that sometimes go on a bit of a tirade. That's slightly different. I'm talking about a situation where it's threatening to go to court and it's getting legal. This is the first time I think we've had it. I think Matchroom and Eddie have sort of built up this reputation of getting on with fighters. And look, some fighters go, right? I mean, but there's been no disharmony. It's like, okay, you've gone. Like Chris Billiam-Smith, for example, Liam Smith. They've got better offers. They've gone. It's never, ever got legal, which is actually quite good, because when you think about it, there's been a lot. I mean, how many times have we heard of issues? Not recently, actually, but how many times in the past did we hear of issues with Frank Warren and fighters? Bob Arum and Top Rank notoriously had issues with fighters. Even recently, Gervonta Davis, Floyd seemed to fall out a little bit, and it started to get a bit heated, especially from Gervonta Davis's side. So I think it's almost quite rare that it gets to this stage with Matchroom, but I almost feel like it's been just miscommunication with that one fight. That's what it feels like it's been. If you're Matchroom, I think you'll be disappointed that you've lost out on Lawrence Okolie. Look, I get it. People will say things like Lawrence Okolie doesn't do big numbers and, he's not a draw. I get that, but Lawrence Okolie is the current WBA Cruiserweight champion. He is unbeaten, and I think Lawrence Okolie is going to do some things in the heavyweight division very, very soon as well. And I've always said that I want to see fighters do a bit more than just box. Grow your social media, get casual fans to know who you are. And Lawrence ticks all those boxes. So I think Eddie and Matchroom will be upset to lose that. I think that's a big, big blow. I want to quickly talk about the loyalty thing, because that's come up quite a lot recently with regards to especially this situation. Now, look, boxing's a short career and a dangerous career as well. So, and I've said it on this channel, maximize whatever income you can get from the sport, because it's very, very dangerous. The idea of being loyal to a promoter doesn't really sit with me. The only way it sits with me is this. Obviously, Lawrence has had a long-standing relationship with Matchroom. And look, Lawrence has got to go in there and do the business, but Matchroom have been able to, I think, grow him steadily, right? I think they've given him the right fights at the right time, and he's become British, European, Commonwealth, world champion, all with Matchroom. If the offer he got from Sky Sports is substantially more, you can't blame Lawrence for saying, fuck that, I want more money, I'm going, right? Again, short career, maximize it. If it's just a little bit more, then I can understand why people would say, be loyal. Because if it's a little bit more and that promoter's done X, Y, Z for you, then maybe there is an argument to stay loyal with that promoter. But if it's substantial, okay, let's just chuck some figures. These are figures I'm just plucking from my head. These aren't any real figures. I'm just giving you an example here. If Lawrence was on 150 grand a fight, yeah, and Sky came along and said, we're going to give you 175, nah, I'm okay. I'm okay over there. Right, obviously you go over to Eddie and you have a word with Matchroom and Frank Smith, etc., and you say, look, I've been offered this, and they'll probably match it if it's just that. If he's on 150 grand a fight with Matchroom and Sky say we're going to give you 300, then we have a problem. And then it's the loyalty thing goes out the window, because someone's doubling my wage. And anyone would do that. Anyone would do it. It's just anyone in any normal walk of life would do it, let alone someone that's getting punched in the head for a living. So look, if Sky have obviously offered him crazy money, and I know for a fact that Sky are chucking lots of money at fighters, then you can't blame him. Fighters are in a weird position right now. I say weird, good position right now, because there are so many broadcasters who are quite thin when it comes to talent. I feel like some fighters are getting overpaid because broadcasters are desperate to have talent on their broadcast. It's just desperate because, as you can see with some recent fight cards, they are a bit thin. So you're going to be getting really, really good offers. And I know, as I say, for a fact that Sky, I don't want to say overpaying, but they're giving fighters really, really good money. I think a good example is Ben Whittaker, right? It looked like he was 110% going to go Matchroom. Lastminute.com, Sky say, here, take that. And it's like, wow, you can't turn it down. There obviously was the question about 258 in both of those interviews. I've known for a while that Lawrence isn't with 258 anymore. And that's okay. I think some people maybe make too much of this. it's okay to split with someone and go elsewhere. Like, we done good business. Thank you very much. I'm going to try that now. I've been around Lawrence since he split from 258, and I've been around Lawrence, and there's AJ there, there's KD there. Everyone's fun. Everyone's having fun, laughing. There's no animosity. So I don't think people should make too much out of the fact he's not with 258 and that team, because every time I still see him with that team, he's cool. He's cool with that team. I'm not quite sure about whether or not there will be a working relationship with Lawrence and Matchroom again, although, you know, his fight has gone to a purse bid and Matchroom can bid for it, right? So it will be interesting to see what's going to happen. I think the WBO have put a 1 week extension on it, which indicates that there are some things going on behind the scenes. But back to it, to kind of summarize it all again very quickly, it does seem to all be down to this one fight. And I feel like there's been a miscommunication somewhere between, I'm guessing it was 258 at the time, but with Matchroom, 258 and Lawrence. I don't know what's happened there, but if you're Lawrence and you're a fighter, you're only counting the number of fights you've had on your, you know, when you get in the ring. That's what you're thinking, right? You're not thinking, oh, that one might not have counted. You're thinking, I've been in there 3 or 4 times, I'm up. Surely that's what you're thinking. But hopefully it's all now been resolved. Lawrence is obviously doing a number of interviews, so I'm guessing he's been allowed to talk about it now. So hopefully it's being resolved behind the scenes. And going back to why it wouldn't have counted that fight, the only thing I can think of is it was behind closed doors. And so Matchroom, again, I still don't know how these contracts works, but Matchroom would have made no money from gate receipts. And maybe they paid Lawrence the same amount. So they're probably thinking, well, we haven't made any money from you in that last fight, but we've paid you. So we kind of need to do one more. Again, just putting it out there. Someone might know a bit more than I do. I might actually reach out to Lawrence and trying to get some clarification from it. But hopefully now it's been resolved. Because the last thing I wanted for Lawrence was for him to go down a legal route and be sitting on the shelf, like we've seen some of the fighters in the past, some of the great fighters in the past, where Mikey Garcia springs to mind, where you're sitting on the shelf for 2 years going for a legal battle with your promoter. Obviously, that's not happening with Lawrence now. He's got this fight coming up. It's gone to purse bids. He'll be out in February or March. But yeah, I'm happy that it's over. But hey, I mean, boxers, and this is now a lesson for all the boxers out there. Have a look at your contracts, man. Have a look at your contracts and speak to your management and go through it with a fine tooth comb and make sure you understand everything. Because there's been far too many boxers, even in the last sort of 15, 20 years, who've had contract issues, legal issues, and are sitting on the shelf whilst legal teams sort out their nonsense. Make sure you have a look at what you're signing and what you're doing. All right. Anyway, guys,